We've got to get out of the wallets of Utah businesses and help them succeed. Well, the coronavirus has had a tremendous impact on businesses all across the state. Every business has been impacted by this pandemic, and the reality is a lot of them are struggling right now. The pandemic that we're seeing and the impact that it's having on businesses really is tremendous, but what we're seeing is really an evolution. I mean, there's a lot of businesses, unfortunately, that probably won't survive this huge downturn, not only in the pandemic, but also the economic recession that could follow and is likely to follow. And so we've got to make it as easy as possible for businesses to get through not only this difficult time, but to get back up on their feet.
So right now we're in a Red Hanger Cleaners location in Saratoga Springs. It's one of our 12 stores still remaining. We saw in a 4-week period, we saw our revenue decline by 80%. You can't cut costs that fast, it's impossible. And it was devastating. A lot of hard emotions watching your business die, not because of anything you've done, and die so fast. And so for us, we worked through it, we survived. I had a business partner, and we decided one day we just have to focus on what we can control and try to just stay alive. And there's been some recovery, but I know a number of small business owners who I'm close with will never reopen their doors. And that's been tough to watch.
On Utah's books right now, there are 88,000 restrictions that roughly equates to about 5.5 million words. That's a lot. That's literally over 10,000 pages of text that a business would have to go and read through just to be compliant with the state code, let alone anything that's on the federal level or any additional requirements that might be had at the local level.
Even in the state of Utah, where we have a much lower threshold for our regulatory environment, we still have too many, and there are things that we can do to remove some of those barriers and those regulations from inhibiting business.
We want to go and transform Utah into one of the most business-friendly states in the nation, and we believe that this can be accomplished by utilizing what's called a regulatory sandbox. This program would allow businesses and regulators to work hand in hand to temporarily suspend certain rules or regulations that could be problematic on a limited basis.
A regulatory sandbox allows a business to step into a safe environment where they can innovate, where they can try new things without fear of getting shut down and without having to incur the legal expense to understand the regulatory environment. They have a sandbox they can play in. It's a safe place for them. It's also a safe place. It's not totally Wild West. There is still the regulators out there, but they're letting you operate in a safe environment so you can innovate, so you can try new things without constant fear of getting shut down.
Now, however the sandbox works here in the state of Utah, I think we've got to create something that is practical for us, but at the same time, the purpose is how do we make it easier to do business in the state? So we definitely support the idea of deregulation and making it easier for businesses to do business in the state of Utah. We have to take a couple of steps back and say, how do we really make the playing field easier? How do we make the playing field more level? And a big part of that is deregulation, making sure that we're getting all regulations out of the way of businesses, particularly right now, so that they can recover and they don't have that extra heavy hand of government holding them back. We have to adapt. We talk about this as an evolution. We need businesses to evolve. If we've got burdensome, out-of-date regulations, it's going to keep them from doing that.
At the end of a company's participation in the Sandbox program, the regulator can then take a good hard look at the regulations in question and determine whether it's appropriate to keep them or refine them to something more appropriate or remove them altogether.
Regulatory safe harbor, regulatory sandbox would be huge, because the first question you ask when you start a business or even when you offer a product and service is, can I do this? And by can I mean, is it legal? And so knowing that there was a vehicle you could move into, a sandbox, regulatory sandbox, where you could just try stuff. You know, I use the phrase throw spaghetti on the wall and see what sticks. You can try stuff and not be worried about getting shut down from a regulatory perspective. And as you're trying to figure stuff out, you can move into a regulatory environment to protect the public, but after you've had a chance to try a few things.
It's important to note that not just any proposal will be accepted into the Sandbox program. If any proposal has a high likelihood of causing severe and irreparable harm to consumers, it won't be allowed. Consumer protection is the #1 priority. Businesses that are participating in the program would be required to disclose information to ensure that the consumer is as informed as humanly possible.
I think we all need to be concerned about too many regulations that are hurting businesses. That stops the creation of new jobs, it stops the development of our economy, it really does stop everything that we call good in our way of life. It stops our pay increases, it stops our ability to spend. And so, too many regulations, I think there's a lot of people who think that they serve a purpose. The reality is they can actually inhibit those things that are so important to us.
Utahns should be excited about this program. If we're able to successfully help Utah businesses with the challenges they face with COVID, we can prevent them from shutting down altogether, saving countless jobs for Utahns.
As a legislator, I think it's imperative that we find the right balance between protecting the public, which is what regulations are supposed to do, and allowing companies to innovate, which is what the market's supposed to do. And in a post-COVID environment, as we transition out of this, it's imperative that businesses, especially Utah businesses, are able to innovate, are able to move forward in a way that allows them to grow into the future.